Upon landing, a passenger defiantly dismissed the flight crew's request to honor a fallen soldier, loudly declaring, "I couldn't care less about it." Unbeknownst to him, the person behind him was about to ensure he regretted those words. As soon as the plane touched down, passengers stirred, eager to disembark. Despite repeated announcements, many ignored the crew's requests to remain seated. A tall, rugged man in his late 40s pushed forward, his impatience evident. "Move," he snapped at the flight attendant blocking his way. She stood firm. "Sir, you need to wait. The fallen soldier must be escorted off first." The man glared, debating whether to argue. Behind him, impatient passengers crowded the aisle, their urgency overshadowing the solemn reason for the delay. Then, a flight attendant's voice cut through the noise. "Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated. We have a fallen airman on board. We ask for your respect as he is escorted off the aircraft." Her words fell on deaf ears. As two solemn-faced military officers approached the door, chaos erupted. Passengers surged forward, led by the impatient man. Once again, the flight attendant blocked his path. "Sir, you have to wait," she repeated firmly. Irritation flashed across his face. He had already clashed with her earlier, and his patience was wearing thin. Glancing around at the crowd pressing against him, he hissed, "I couldn't care less, honestly." His words drew disapproving looks, but he remained oblivious, fixated on exiting. Little did he know, this moment would lead to an encounter that would change his life forever. Summer 2017, a commercial flight to Detroit carried a solemn cargo, the body of Sergeant Kevin Brooks, a 28-year-old airman from Lansing, Michigan. As passengers settled in, the pilot's voice filled the cabin. "Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to transport the remains of Sergeant Kevin Brooks, who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. We ask for your respect and silence during this flight." Sergeant Brooks had served 10 years in the U.S. Air Force, stationed at Luke Air Force Base. His family, his mother, siblings, and young children, Jennifer and Stephen, had bid farewell to the mournful notes of taps. Now, they were one step closer to laying him to rest. Most passengers absorbed the moment's gravity, but in seat 17C, Mr. Morgan scoffed. "What's the big deal? Other people have their own problems," he muttered. Ashley, a petite flight attendant, caught his words. A flicker of disgust crossed her face before she composed herself and approached with a practiced smile. "Sir, please switch off your phone and buckle up." Mr. Morgan grumbled but complied, catching Ashley's subtle disapproval. He settled in for the 4-hour flight, unaware that his attitude would soon lead to an unexpected confrontation. As the plane took off, carrying its mix of mourners and the indifferent, the stage was set for a journey that would challenge perceptions and perhaps change lives. Throughout the flight, the pilot periodically reminded passengers to honor Sergeant Brooks. Upon landing, "Please remain seated until his body is respectfully removed," he announced. Flight attendants echoed the message, scanning the cabin with solemn determination. Mr. Morgan grew increasingly irritated. Sensing his discomfort, Ashley approached with a warm smile. "Is everything all right, sir?" Morgan huffed. "Why the constant reminders? It's excessive and unnecessary." Ashley maintained her composure. "Some passengers may not be paying attention," she said, gesturing to those absorbed in magazines or movies. "We're ensuring a respectful atmosphere for Sergeant Brooks's family." Morgan scoffed, unmoved. "Nobody's going to suddenly start dancing or cheering. It's a long trip. We can't keep hearing this over and over." Ashley's smile faltered as she took a deep breath, carefully considering her response. When she spoke again, her voice was polite but firm, preparing to address Morgan's insensitivity without compromising her professionalism. "I understand your frustration, sir," Ashley replied calmly, "but it's basic courtesy and protocol. Please help maintain a respectful atmosphere." Mr. Morgan reluctantly agreed but remained irritated. As the flight neared its end, the crew repeated their reminder 4 times. When the plane landed and restlessness grew, Ashley stood her ground, blocking Morgan's path. "You have to wait, sir," she insisted firmly. "I couldn't care less, honestly," Morgan snapped, drawing disapproving glances. As impatient passengers crowded behind him, Ashley realized she was fighting a losing battle. Reluctantly, she stepped aside, fearing escalation. Morgan smirked, thinking he had won, unaware that his words had caught the attention of someone else. Timothy Kelly, a retired airman seated behind him. Kelly, who also worked as airline staff, understood the sanctity of this moment for the fallen soldier and his family. He had been quietly following the directive to remain respectful, but was shocked by the discourteous behavior of his fellow passengers. His eyes remained fixed on Morgan, his mind racing with thoughts of how to address this blatant disrespect. As the situation unfolded, Kelly wrestled between maintaining decorum and addressing Morgan's callousness. The tension set the stage for an unexpected confrontation. An elderly woman nearby, her gray hair a testament to her years, spoke up. "Sir, please show some respect," she urged. Morgan dismissed her, turning back to the flight attendant. Watching the exchange, Kelly's patience wore thin. As Morgan moved to exit, he called out, "Excuse me, sir, but you can't act like that." Morgan glanced over his shoulder, then blatantly ignored him, stepping off the plane without a word. Kelly was stunned, not just by Morgan's indifference, but by the passengers who hurried past while Sergeant Brooks's family wept over his casket. Frustration and disappointment burned within him. Determined to make a difference, he took action, not for revenge, but to educate. Once home, he shared his experience in a Facebook post, expressing deep disappointment and recounting how the flight attendant's pleas had been ignored. He described one attendant urging departing passengers, "If you don't have the courtesy to stay seated, at least stop laughing as you walk down the aisle." In a follow-up video, Kelly revealed that only he, a flight attendant, an off-duty pilot, all flying as passengers, and the Delta Airlines flight crew remained seated until Sergeant Brooks's coffin was loaded into a hearse. Kelly's post sought to highlight the importance of respect in solemn moments, hoping to inspire better behavior among future travelers. "I couldn't believe what I was seeing," he recalled, bitterness in his voice. "The flight attendant and I wondered if we'd misheard the crew's instructions." While appalled, he acknowledged that some passengers might not have grasped the situation's gravity. After a long flight, some needed to stretch or had valid reasons to leave quickly, like a woman with arthritis. There could have been many reasons: connecting flights, medical issues, personal matters, he mused. Some might have thought it was fine to leave after the military escorts departed, but does that excuse the lack of courtesy? He understood not everyone was familiar with military traditions, but the blatant disregard for repeated announcements was difficult to justify. Kelly contrasted this incident with a similar situation 4 years prior, when passengers on an Atlanta-Los Angeles Delta flight showed utmost respect for a deceased U.S. Army soldier and his family. Some even became emotional during the journey. This stark difference made the behavior on the Phoenix-Detroit flight even more disappointing. Kelly concluded his posts by emphasizing education on proper customs and courtesies. He shared his videos across multiple platforms, including military affairs sites. Within minutes, they went viral, drawing media attention and sparking discussions on respect and civility at airports. The story gained momentum, prompting a broader conversation on honoring those who made the ultimate sacrifice. Its impact reached beyond social media. Mr. Morgan's employer took notice. After reviewing eyewitness accounts, the company acted swiftly. Morgan's frequent flyer privileges were revoked, and he was demoted pending a full review. He was required to complete sensitivity training and a course on respecting military personnel, with non-compliance resulting in a 6-month suspension or termination. Though not publicly disclosed, this information reached the flight crew, including Kelly and Ashley, who felt relieved knowing Morgan would face consequences for his actions. Despite the initial outrage, a silver lining emerged. Sergeant Brooks's family was met with an outpouring of support from compassionate individuals. "I was saddened by the disrespect shown that day," said Tiffany Dobson, the fallen soldier's sister. "But now, I'm overwhelmed by the love and support my brother and our family have received. It has truly helped us through this difficult time." The incident ignited an outpouring of support for Sergeant Brooks, transforming a moment of disrespect into a powerful tribute. This story serves as a reminder. 1. Always show respect for the deceased, regardless of personal circumstances. 2. Honor fallen soldiers who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. 3. Think before speaking. Insensitive remarks about veterans can carry serious consequences. Mr. Morgan learned these lessons the hard way. I'm really keen to know your thoughts on this story, so please don't hesitate to share your insights in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and found it engaging, I invite you to subscribe to our channel for more similar content. Feel free to share this video. Take good care of yourselves, and I'm excited to connect with you in our future videos.